We're going to do a quick overview on how to install and lay out all the feathers on your bald eagle wreath. So step one, you'll start with all the components for the ring. Each one of them has a number on it, so you'll start with blue, number 1. Then the rest will alternate colors. You'll have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 6 is the most important because it has the mount on the back. To assemble these, I just put a little squiggle of glue on this inside textured area and a little bit on this face. Slide them together, kind of hold the ends to keep them aligned while the glue dries. Now we got number 3. So again, a little bit in there, a little squiggle across, and a little line down the sides. I try not to get much around the very outside edge so it doesn't squish out. This is where the instant cure stuff comes in handy. My little spray doesn't work, so I just do a little drop there and a little drop, a little scrape down the center. Always put these pieces when it's laying flat to keep them from going too far back or not back far enough. Press it together, and with the Instaset, a couple of seconds, and it's good to go. And you do that all the way through. For the head, I do similar, couple squiggles of glue on this flat surface, and then I just do one bead along and on this angled surface so that it mates really nice with that and glues and gives you a good solid joint. Then for feathers, we'll start with this small red section just above the head. I've got it put in place so you can see how close the feathers get to the face features and the eyes and everything. So we don't do too many feathers in this piece. We do one little one on this second hole on the end. We've got 2 medium ones up here on top and on the second hole, and 3 large ones, 2 on the very outermost and 1 in this second hole. These 2 you'll actually wait and install at the very end because it gives you a little better access to the head feathers. So next section for white, we have 4 small feathers in on this little corner square. Then on the inner 2 outer end holes, we have 2 mediums just above the little guys, and large all the way rest across. So 4 on this outer row, 3 and 3. And when it's snapped in place, you can see why the mediums and the smalls go where they do, so it doesn't interfere with the head. You can wait on this one too and do it at the end if you want. It's not necessary, but it does give you a little easier access to those very top head feathers. The next 4 sections, so the red, and white, will get all large feathers except for the very inside most holes. Those get mediums just to keep it from binding up too much all the way around on the inside of the circle. Blue is very similar. First row is just like those, 5 of the large and 1 inside most little one. Then all the rest of the 2 rows get mediums. I like to do 3 little ones in the very last hole and in the 1 hole just to the left of the posts. The other 2 holes stay empty until the end when we put the stars on. Then after the star is on, you can go back and put this one in. The one just to the right of the post will stay empty. And then the outer 3 rows are all large feathers all the way down. Then the head is the only part that starts getting a little tricky. So we'll start with 3 large feathers. They do need to be trimmed a little bit. So you'll have 1 normal, 1 a little bit shorter, and 1 very short for this very end hole. The light's a little bad. This very bottom one will get skipped. Your short feather will go in this one. Your cut slightly longer feather will go in the second hole, and then normal length for the third. And then you got 2 mediums just after those 2. The next row will be similar with the medium feathers. This very end one will be trimmed, cut just a little bit shorter. And then you'll have 4 mediums finishing that row. And then everything else in the head gets these small feathers. The first 3 rows are just normal, just glue the feathers in and go. Starting on row number 4, once the feathers are in place, because of the way they stick out and getting closer up to the top of the head, I use a heat gun or a blowtorch, a little micro pin torch, to heat the base of the feather so that it'll fold and end up being flush, nice and smooth. Alright, so now that's the 3rd row of whites. So what we're going to do is take our torch, slowly heat them up, but move the torch quickly so it doesn't scorch and melt anything. Going just soft enough so that they're flexible, so that they kind of droop. For the beak, it's just some glue on the very back of the beak here. I do like a line down the top and 2 lines kind of following these contours, and then slide it in place. The only other piece on the head that is different is these very last 2 innermost holes. I just skipped those 2, so we only do these 2 outers and these 2 outers. For the stars, what I like to do, hold it with my finger in the hanger and get it just against the edge of the table so that we know exactly where the bottom is, and then set it straight down from there. That way we know how to make the stars point straight up at the top. So I pretty much fill this whole little groove in the star with the super glue. And again, my sprayer piece for this doesn't work, so this actually makes this part quite easy. Just touch that on top of the post, and then we'll slide our star in between the feathers. And get it onto that post so that it's pointing straight up, and we only got a second or so to make sure the alignment's just right before she is solid on there. So there we go. And there we have our completed 13-inch bald eagle wreath.